Hey fellow netizens, Plus here. Today we are diving headfirst into Ark Knights Enfield. We have been itching for more Endfield news, and oh boy did Lowlight deliver. The moment they dropped the videos, it felt as if the whole community was on fire and ignited by a burning desire. But before we get into the nitty-gritty, I've got to warn you, I have seen some scary things in my time, but none as terrifying as a happy Calcid. I guess the years of enduring the doctor finally broke her. And speaking of heart-stopping surprises, Angelina decided that limited banners spook weren't enough. Now she is here to haunt us in a game trailer. Was Rhodes Island responsible for 9/11? How is Patriot involved in Endfield? And will Ark Knights Enfield still be the war crime simulator we all secretly desire? Will this game mark a new era for Hypergriff and maybe change the gacha game market? Let's break the ice and find out, shall we? Ark Knights Enfield is a real-time 3D RPG with strategic elements made by Hypergriff, the same studio that also made Arknights. You play as the Administrator, and guess what? You can choose between two genders, which both look like Raiden from Metal Gear Rising, but hey, more choice is always better. NSFW artists have already started churning out some spicy Administrator content since day one. Rule 34 truly moves at the speed of light. You were on your way to a planet called Talos 2. However, your shuttle didn't make quite the scheduled landing. You wake up from a cryostasis, not remembering a darn thing. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? But I just can't put my finger on which game did that. Maybe we will never know. You are acting as the trump card of Endfield Industry, a mining company, and your mission is to ensure the operation on Talos 2 to go smooth. Prevent major crises from damaging the mining stations and other stationary complexes of Endfield Industry. Rumors claim that the Administrator would always show up to turn the tide, creating many legends and stories about this mysterious character. Now, all of this sounds very vague and foggy itself, but as an experienced doctor and veteran Arknights player, I can tell you exactly what your job will be. You will eradicate anyone who dares to endanger the operations of Endfield Industry by any means necessary. I know what you are thinking. I've been doing exactly the same thing, watching the trailer and gameplay demo on a loop until I started to hallucinate and believed that I was already playing the game myself. You see, when it comes to dissecting the nitty-gritty details, I go full Sherlock Holmes on it. I have magnified every pixel, scrutinized every frame. To summarize it, it is like a mixture of Satisfactory, Factorio, and a dash of your favorite city building game. There's a wide variety of structures to build, but hold on, here's the kicker. Every structure you put up in this alien wasteland needs energy, and not just any energy. I mean, the good stuff. These specific poles connect your structures with the main energy source. However, they have a limited range. Here are different characters. We have us, Perlica, Chen 2.0, a dog person, and an underleveled defender. You can already see that there will be a rarity rank for each character. The purple one are 5 stars and the yellow one is a 6 star. We can see reused assets from Arknights. 5-star operators have a basic attack, a skill, and an ultimate ability. In addition to that, each have their own element. 6-star have 2 skills instead of 1. But in the squad layout, you can see that you can only have 1 active skill chosen. I would like to add that the squad layout looks very clean and beautiful. It looks like there will be a weapon system with an additional equipment to the weapon itself. There will also be another equipment feature for the operators, which is really reminiscent of Genshin Impact's artifact system. I do not want to jump to the gun and give people the impression that this would turn into an RNG grind slave labor. I have faith that Hypergriff is taking our greatest fear in their consideration, so let them cook. The combat system looks pretty interesting. Instead of your boring ass solo switch fest where you just circle through all of your 4 characters, in Endfield all your squad members follow you. Each character has 1 skill that you can manually activate. Around the skill icon there's a circular bar showing the SP required to activate each character's ultimate ability. Once fully charged, the normal skill icon switches to ultimate skill. is Chen 2.0. Take a closer look at the enemy and you can see that there are different types of damage. In addition to the health bar, enemies also have something like a shield. Once it breaks, it will stun them for a duration. Let us take a look at this beautiful scenery before we get back to commit voluntary manslaughter. As we can see, Endfield brought a lot of already existing and very familiar assets over from Arknights. This medical structure reminds me of Lancet 2. This material reminds me of Orion Cluster. Some items that we wish we had that many in our inventory. This money icon reminds me of LMD, but instead of an L, it is a T. Maybe a universal currency on Talos 2, or a universal currency for all inhabitants from Terra. We can only speculate. A different kind of random that is probably going to be burned for gacha pulls. Some things will never change. And maybe base in Arknights was never meant to get out of beta, because it seems like what we have in Endfield is what Lowlight has been cooking. This gacha game may look similar to some other successful gacha games, but it is nothing like anything we have on the market. Yes, this is an open world anime RPG. Yes, we explore it, and yes, there seem to be elemental damage as well, but viewing this game from a base building strategy perspective, you won't be able to find anything similar in the gacha realm. What I'm saying is that Hypergriff knows exactly what they are cooking, and I am very excited to see what comes next. I mean, just compare the second demo with the first one. The improvements are everywhere. This world they have crafted is something you can't compare with any other open world gacha game right now. It is like they went from painting with crayons to creating masterpiece with every stroke of the brush. And keep in mind that from here on, it will just get better and bigger. I want to end this video with some of my own ideas and expectations. First and foremost, I want to use those bicycles from the very first trailer. They specifically showed the bicycles multiple times in their official artworks. This can't just be some coincidence. I expect that to be an in-game feature. Obviously, that would be very handy for fast travel in a hazardous environment such as Talos 2. It is not for vehicular manslaughter, where were you thinking? I would also love to build giant structures, maybe even an entire land ship. Okay, this might be a little bit too big. There's also a mention about different factions on Talos 2. I know they have already mentioned about different kind of enemies, but I'm not talking about those in the trailer. Are the other nations on Terra also interested in this planet? Do you think familiar factions such as Rhinelab or any other powerful nations will play a role in Ark Knights Enfield? I am a firm believer in that. I am thrilled to see Ursus in space or Rimbilliton trying to break every employment law on Talos 2. Please Hypergriff, you haven't disappointed me yet, and I'm sure you won't disappoint me in the future. If you are just as hyped as I am and still want to talk more in depth about Ark Knights Enfield, why don't you join my server? We are a group of gacha addicted people who takes pride in being a waste of oxygen and accept memes as a valuable currency. Now, if you are still here, I would love to show you my channel members. I love them as if they were my children, because most of them evade taxes to be able to afford the membership.